Welcome back, troglodytes, to another episode of Trogly's Guitars. Today we have a semi-hollow known as a Les Paul Signature. Not a Les Paul Signature T from the modern era, but the original one. Now, if you've never heard of these guitars, these things are awesome. I really do like these. I think I like the one I had before this one a little bit better, but this one definitely has some very, key characteristics that I do like better. But overall, these are really cool sounding instruments. Prototypes were first introduced in 1972, and I believe these were made all the way up until 77, 79, but they were most predominantly made in the early 70s, around 73 and 74. And Tobacco Sunburst is actually a pretty rare finish for these, but it is definitely my favorite one. I think I've had 3 or 4 of these, but gold was definitely the one that was most popular, and not as many tobaccos, but I really love the tobacco look on these. Now, these are very similar to the Les Paul Recording, Personal, Professional, in that it has low impedance humbuckers. However, not like those guitars, you can use it in a normal amp through this input jack, or if you do have a low impedance setup, there's a second input jack down here. So don't put your regular input jack down there or you're going to think the pickups are dead. This was designed by Les Paul himself as kind of the final low impedance thing that he was trying to push that just unfortunately never caught on. These are phenomenal jazz guitars. I love these guitars. So if you haven't ever tried one of these, I do highly suggest it. Unfortunately, this one's already sold, but we're going to review it anyways. The face of the headstock has, your average string change wear. Looks like you've got some like nicks and dings here. There's a small ding there as well. Just, a few dings up and around the corners, but overall fairly well taken care of. You've got the aged lacquer there, and it says Les Paul Signature. So this is probably the weirdest Les Paul you'll ever see, because it doesn't even have the Les Paul design hardly at all. This one still has the stock nut, and they came with rosewood fretboards. The frets are in good shape. They do show some very minor wear, but fairly tall yet. You can get a few dressings out of them yet. And I really do like the inlays. They kind of have that crystalline-like structure to them. Take a look at the body here. What's interesting about these, besides the whole low impedance electronics, is it's not your typical 2 volumes, 2 tones. It's actually master volume, master tone, and then these originally would have had little poker chips similar to this around it that tell you what they do. But this is a 3-position knob, so 1, 2, and 3, and that stands for 50 ohms of impedance, 250 ohms, and 500 ohms. That kind of takes you from, like Stratocaster single coil sound to like a Tele humbucker all the way to full humbucker. That's kind of what it does. I'll try to demonstrate it a little bit better. Then this one is for out of phase, which I've never been a huge fan of. But overall, it definitely does lend it to some interesting tonal capabilities, and I really do like the sounds of these guitars. And they're really comfortable. Something I've never liked about the ES335 is it's very wide, especially at the top. What I like about these is they're still kind of familiar to a Les Paul, because you got your higher horn here and then your lower horn there, whereas the ES335s, they're a little bit more, I don't know, they're symmetrically perfect, and that kind of throws me off because most famous guitars, even the SG, aren't 100% symmetrically perfect, so maybe that's why I'm not a huge 335 fan. But I do like that design. It was very well designed. So let's take a look here at the condition. Now, this poker chip and switch tip have been replaced. They are not original to the guitar. It came to me with a black switch tip and poker chip, but these originally came with cream, so I put some modern parts on here, and holy cow, guys, this guitar is a nightmare if you ever have to rewire it, because look, no back plates at all. And 335s, all your stuff's kind of right here, right? This one's like a Les Paul, so you've got your three-way switch up here. So when I took this nut off and that three-way switch fell inside this guitar, my heart just sank. It took about an hour to get that stupid thing out of this guitar. I had to take all the pickups out, fish my way in there, turn the guitar upside down, shake it a bunch, but I think it's worth it. The end result definitely satisfies my original desire for a guitar to look like it originally did, but they are replaced parts. Original pickups, they do say Gibson on them, akin to like the 72 pickup covers. I think that was something Gibson was trying to do, but just never caught on because it made the covers position specific on humbuckers. But once we get the light on here, you can see there's quite a bit of finish checking and some light nicks and dings, but nothing too incredibly bad. I would say the top is still fairly clean, and it really shimmers in the light. That's why I like these ones that have the wood grain mixed with the finish checking, whereas the gold tops, they don't quite look as good as the tobacco ones. And there were definitely significantly less tobacco ones made. I know Reverb posted an article that made them seem super rare, but I've actually had more tobacco ones than gold ones. I'm just trying to show off this finish checking here the best I can. The pickguard here is chipped. That screw really doesn't hold it down, but luckily this bottom bracket screw holds it pretty good. It doesn't tap too badly. It looks like you've got a nice sized ding there. And there is kind of a finish split line right here. That's not in the wood, thankfully. I took the pickup out and made sure myself. It is just kind of a finish split that you can kind of see there. Take a look at the back of the headstock. Serial number looks like 570300. Made in USA, has a volute. You can see the three-piece maple neck here. A 5 if you count the wings. But the headstock's in good shape. It's got some light wear and tear, as you can see here. I had one of these a few months ago. I guess it's almost been a year ago now, that had the back of the headstock refinished because somebody had put Schallers on it. Luckily, no refinishes on this guy here. You do have some stand wear here on the side. But what I really like about this example is this one piece on the neck has gorgeous flame, and I love it. The centerpiece has some light flame as well, but thankfully the super flame side is the side you see while you're playing, so it's really motivating just to see that flame. It just shows you how beautiful of a guitar this is. Now on this side where the fretboard joined to the body, there is some light finish wear and checking that occurred, but overall it's fairly minor. It's not structural or anything. Here there's a little bit more finish missing in that area, but once again, very, very minor. Back of the guitar here, pretty clean shape. Once again, no major nicks or dings. I will say kind of in this area here, there's some scratching, but beautiful figuring to the wood. I mean, not tons, but what really sells this one is some pretty attractive checking, I would say. This is kind of running vertically up and down on this guitar. Pretty well all over the guitar. I'm not sure if that's really showing up or not, so I'm trying to show it at a bunch of different angles here. So hopefully it will show up for you. Now what's really common on these Les Paul signatures, the originals, is you'll find that the finish will start showing a line where the neck joined to the body. That's very common. That doesn't mean the neck's been out or anything like that. Sometimes it might, but not on this example. You've got some light wear and tear on the sides of this one, but not too bad. The strap buttons were changed out to Schallers, so that's pretty well your only modification except for these two plastic pieces. So overall, would I suggest getting one of these? Yes, they are very good guitars. They feature a harmonica bridge here, which is a very short-lived bridge that kind of just wasn't loved, even though it's technically a better bridge than the ABR1 and Nashville style. Some of the very late models of these Les Paul signatures got regular bridges. Take a look under blacklight here. You can see a few small chips in the finish, but nothing too major. Truss rod works just fine. We've got some light finish checking there, as well as some chips on the side. And this really shows off the finish checking pretty well. You've got that sticker in there, as well as a serial number in the headstock. You can see the knobs are original because they're glowing. Some more finish checking. Some light finish chips in the back of the headstock as well. But, you know, overall, this guitar's not too bad. You might be wondering why you can see those lines. Sometimes over the years, dirt can work their way into them, and that's why they're a little bit more prominent. They're not technically separating, like, to the point where you're going to have to get it repaired. It's just how guitars age. The finish is in pretty good shape. You just got, you know, your very light chipping around the neck pocket area, which is very common on these. I've had it on all of them. I had like a mint condition gold top one of these, but it unfortunately had that same problem. But overall, this guitar is fairly clean. It's definitely player's grade, but since the tobacco version is so rare, I would definitely say a collector would still find this one suitable for their collection. They're fairly lightweight at 8 pounds, 2.3 ounces. You know, lightweight compared to a Les Paul anyways. This Les Paul signature does come in what appears to be the original case. It doesn't say Gibson on it, but not all of these did. Comparing it to some of the other ones that Chicago Music Exchange has, it was the same case. The interior is definitely correct. All these have this really nice dark purple interior that I wish they wouldn't have stopped using, because I love these dark purple ones. You can see the pull tab's kind of broken off here, but you can still kind of use it. I'm not sure what this red thing's about. It's kind of reptile skin-like. Usually that's black. But overall, the case is in good shape. I mean, it's not in perfect shape, but all the latches work. And you've got some tears in the Tolex and all, but overall, it works. What I kind of like about this out of phase knob here, it only works in the middle position as it's supposed to, and it almost kind of gives you a phaser sound, like when you start playing really fast. Mix it with turning the tone knob off, and it really does give you some interesting tonal possibilities. This particular guitar is already sold, but feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys, if you'd like for me to search for another one for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time, Troglodytes. Take care.